Thanks to HDRadioNetwork.com for that pre-race entertainment. I'll tell you what, rock your brains out, cowboy, over at HDRadioNetwork.com. Hey, last night I had the pleasure, and thanks to a last-minute call from John, the Bad Boy Wrestling, rode shotgun with Jesse the Outlaw James. And I tell you what, if I weren't so damned old, I'd jump in the saddle and go rob some banks with him any day. We had a great time in the inaugural Road to the Pro in the A-car last night in iRacing. But tonight, I'm in the booth with my saddle partner, Tracy Flip Robinson, El Jefe. Jesse James calls him the legendary John, the Bad Boy Wrestling. And tonight, Tracy, we're riding herd over these boys from the nation at Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah, I tell you what, Kentucky's a fun track to run. Little tricky at times, but we should have a really good race tonight, JD.
Outstanding. I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall qualifying in on the pole tonight. It's been a long time since we've seen the 55 machine start up front. Don Klein will be starting outside him. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and take him down through the points, and we'll let them know who's who and who's where. And the Monday Night Halls on post. Monday Night All-Pro Racing here at the Nation. Tony Bowling up 3 positions this week, guys. Tony sitting at the top, 209 points for the good side. The 55 machine, Dwayne Hall, sitting in second. Tracy, only 5 points below Tony Bowling. But I'll tell you what, starting on the pole tonight, there's a couple of bonus points waiting for him at the end of the race.
Yeah, but don't think Frankie Shimano, our points leader of last week, has fallen very far. He's gone back 2 spots because he's actually tied with Dwayne Hall right now with 204 points, both 5 points behind our leader, Tony Bowling. And tell you what, running fourth, the number 7 of James Greegate, he's lost 2 spots during last week's race. He's got 198 points, and he's 11 points behind our leader, Tony Bowling.
You better talk about James Greegate. He's the number 2 pick tonight. James Greegate here in Kentucky. 2 wins, 1 top 5, 1 top 10 finish. But hey, let's talk about Larry Malkin sitting in the 5th position, 27 car. No movement this week. 18 points behind the leader. Larry Malkin, number 1 pick at Kentucky here. He's got 1 win at this track. 6 top 5s, Tracy. 1 top 10 finish. Jerry Hinkle hanging on to a top 10 position here. 6th place. 33 points behind Tony Bowling. Jerry Hinkle having an outstanding season.
And 7th this week is the 49 of Frank Jockman. He's up 3 positions. Tell you what, Frank Jockman doing a great job out there getting nice consistent wins. He's got 171 points. He's 38 points behind our leader. And an 8th spot, losing 1 spot, the number 3 of Hal Beardsworth. Tell you what, if it wasn't for bad luck, Hal would have no luck at all. And he's 170 points behind. He's got 170 points, 39 points behind our leader. But tell you what, looking to gain a spot here, as he's only got to make up 5 points to move up 2 positions.
Outstanding. I'll tell you what, Joe DiPino, they call him the counselor, a young Italian boy from Chicago, Illinois, sitting in 9th position here, 43 points behind the lead, just a notch. We're talking just a notch on the gun handle below him. The 17 car, Lance Walker, sitting in the top 10. He's down a couple of positions this week, guys. 44 points behind the lead. Only 1 point separates him from DiPino. So there's a couple of races going on here tonight, Tracy, for sure.
Yeah, I tell you what, we got something in here that doesn't show, isn't in the top 10, but 11th spot. He moved up 5 spots last week, JD, our biggest mover of the week. That is the 5 of Roger Haygood, doing a great job out there. You know, just picking away at him, moving up. And yeah, like you said, a kind of an interesting race last week. Really jumbled up our field, but, you know, this track right here will make up some difference on that, JD.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, in the house with us tonight from HDRadioNetwork.com is Phil. I tell you what, Phil, welcome to the booth here at the Nation tonight. And I understand we're doing a simulcast.
That's the plan, but, you know, as all things well planned out, it's got a few bugs. I'm still working them on.
All right. Tell you what, we're setting up for the big race, the Daytona 500 here, coming in a couple of weeks here over at Nuff World. And I tell you what, it's pretty nice to have HD Radio Network in the house with us. And hey, bud, this is a thanks from ETV. Thanks for providing the pre-race entertainment for us. As that's an outstanding thing.
Oh, no problem. Anytime. We appreciate working with you guys and providing that for you. And we get the little glitches worked out of this. We're going to have this race simulcast for sure at Nuff Radio.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we got about a minute and a half here. You know, HD Radio Network. I understand there's 4 channels to choose from. 3 of them on the HDRadioNetwork.com, and then of course the Nuff Radio over there at the Nuff World site. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, HDR, hard driving radio. It's primarily hard rock, alternative, and metal. It's pretty hard. Then we got what we call our big 80s metal. That's mostly your 80s variety metal, hair type rock, from everything from the 80s. It's pretty jamming there. HDR Classics, where we play that classic rock that everybody likes to hear.
I'll tell you what.
And you notice, Jetty, you notice he didn't say anything about country.
Yeah, hey, dude, I'm still working on that, Cowboy. I tell you what, I just keep breathing down her neck, and we'll get it one way or another.
Well, but John, when did you get the cowboy phrase used on you so much lately?
I tell you what, you know, listening to that classic station today, I mean, listening to the likes of George Thorogood, Led Zeppelin, I haven't heard Stairway to Heaven. You know, it's been probably 15 years since I've heard that song played, and I'm just sitting here rocking my brains out. HDRadioNetwork.com, guys. Pick it up and put it down. That's where it's at. And Phil, hang out with us up here in the booth, dude. If you got the time, we're going to get things rolling here just shortly.
That sounds good. We'll definitely be hanging out here with you.
Hopefully Kevin will join us too. I'm sure Kevin's probably listening to all of this somewhere in the world, but see if we can't get Kevin Kelly over here and join us in the booth as well. Well, James Grigate, and of course Tony with the 4 top 5s in here tonight. Looking for a number 3 spot out of him, but top 2, Mullican and Grigate, we'll see what they can put together. But right now, we're going to go ahead and throw it down on trackside. The Cactus Cuties standing by to present our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, I'll tell you what, the national anthem being played by the Cactus Cuties, and boys, I'll tell you what, that's about the best rendition of the national anthem that I have ever heard in my life. Young girls aged from 11 to 16, beautiful voices down there. But right now, as they get lined up out here on pit road, fire them things up. And I'll tell you what, Tracy, starting out on the pole tonight in the 55 car is going to be Dwayne Hall. And with a 29.93, the only car to break the sound barrier under 30 seconds here at Kentucky. Outside him, the 52, Don Klein.
And starting third tonight in the 20 car, and then third spot, Brian Stewart in the 20. And starting in 4th position, the 22 of Frankie Samanto.
Starting 5th on the inside, the 27 car, Larry Mulliken. Remember, we talked about him pre-race. 1 win, 6 top 5s at Kentucky, 1 top 10 finish. Keep an eye on that 27 machine. Outside him, your points leader, the 21 car, starting 6th tonight. Keep your eye on Tony Bowling. 4 top 5s here at Kentucky.
And starting in the 7th position, car I told you making up the most spots last week, the number 5 of Roger Haygood in 7th position. And starting outside of him in the 8th spot is a 28 of Howard Pittman.
Frank Jockman in the 49 car, starting in 9th on the inside. Outside him in a 33, having an outstanding season, a 33 car, Jerry Hinkle.
Starting in 11th, the number 3 of Hal Beard was looking for a little better finish tonight and a little bit more luck. And starting in 12th, the 34 of Joe DePino.
Lance Walker in the 17 car, starting 13th on the inside. Outside him and bringing up the tail, none other than that 7 car. Watch him at Grundy Speedway, Illinois on Friday night starting in April. Starting 14th, the number 7, James Greegate. We're set for 100 laps here at Kentucky, Tracy. Caution average is running at about 5.1. We'll give them 5.
Green,
And I'll tell you what, we've been to Kentucky 9 times over the last, about a year and a half. So looking for an outstanding race tonight. 14 drivers taking the green flag here, and we're off and running at Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah, I tell you, something to keep an eye out for is one of them yellow-skinned fruits on the exit of these corners. Tell you, these corners, especially coming off of 2 here, sometimes your car all of a sudden tends to get loose on you, so we'll have to keep an eye on that tonight, JD. We know that yellow fruit sometimes always jumps out on them.
Absolutely. And tell you what, checking out on the field already, Dwayne Hall already out to about almost a half a second lead over the 20 car of Stewart. But I'll tell you what, one lap in the books already here, guys, and 100 laps to go here. So lots of racing here at Kentucky Speedway as Stewart gets a little bit wide coming off of turn 4, heading down the back stretch going into, actually that was turn 2, going into turn 4 here. As Don Klein in behind him. Larry Mulliken, I'll tell you what, Larry Mulliken in that 27 machine, he's running in 4th position right now. We know what this cat's all about. He'll probably wind up staying in the top 5 pretty much the whole night. He won't cut the ponies loose as he gets a piece of the wall off the front stretch, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, you try to swing your car wide to get a nice run down into them corners, and that safer barrier will jump out and get you. I'm watching the 7 of James Greegate. He's having to take it fairly easy to get through the traffic here, JD. Try to get back to the lead, but it looked like that leader was getting a little bit smaller in front of him. Having to deal with traffic is kind of holding up his pace right now, but he's slowly moving forward. And right now, the 33 of Jerry Hinkle is getting underneath the 28 of Howard Pittman to take that spot.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Greegate just a little bit off the pace, 30.9 second laps for James Greegate in that 7. In the meantime, Dwayne Hall out there in front, he's turning 30.4, so he's just a little bit faster than Greegate is right now. But I'll tell you what, like I said before, lots of racing left here. 3 laps in the books. On the board, 100 laps at Kentucky Speedway tonight. And this ought to be a cakewalk for these boys, pretty much. Like I said, Tracy, we've been here 9 times before. Caution average running at about 5. So look for the first caution here, probably in about 20 laps.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching back here, Jay. Looks like the 21 of Tony Bolin. I think he's kind of taking a little easy on the tires as he's actually kind of falling off a little bit. Ways off at the back of the 22 of Frank's Motto. The 3 of Hal Beardworth getting loose in the middle of 3 and 4 there, having to correct that and check up on his car, giving Roger Haygood a little bit of a run on him. We're going to have to keep an eye on that 3 of Hal Beardworth. Looks like his car is starting to maybe get a little loose on him.
You bet. And move it all the way back here, 12th position. They call him the counselor. 34 car, Joe DePino, PBR all over that car, and Joe looking for a good night tonight. Checking in the chat room over here. I'll tell you what, good evening to David Baz. I see you in there, and I see Jerry. He's along for the ride.
Just took the yellow. Pit road's closed. Pit road's closed.
And so,
we got yellow out. JD's 17. Lance Walker just looped it around.
All right, and I'll tell you what, let's put that baby in rewind here and see if we can check back and see. Looks like it, no help at all, John. Looks like that banana peel again.
He was trying to make a move here on Howard Pittman, and it looked like he might have just pinched that car down just a little bit too much. His backs are into the outside safer barrier here, guys, and it's going to slide it through the grass there. Looked like he might have just pinched it just a little bit too much trying to get underneath that 28 ETV machine of Howard Pittman.
Yeah, it looks like minor damage to the left rear of that 17 car, Lance Walker, bringing out the first caution here at Kentucky, guys. So, I'll tell you what, there's 4 more to go, Tracy.
I tell you what, entering that corner where Lance did, this track, I know for me, has been notorious that if you get off the gas in the wrong spot or get off the gas too heavily, that's exactly what it does. It'll just get loose on you. But I tell you what, he's going to get in there, get that straightened out. They'll check that front and make sure there's no damage. With aerodynamics here make a huge difference. And it looks like the 33 Jerry Hinkle is going to stay out to get an extra point, guys. That's usually what Jerry Hinkle does. I tell you what, he's the bonus point champion. I'm telling you. But looks like most of them are coming down pit road, guys. And of course, you know, one thing about this series, they start the race on their qualifying tires. So hey, the first chance to come down pit road and get those shoes changed, why the better. So just about everybody's coming down pit road. Your leaders in this pit box, Dwayne Hall, up there in the front. He's got the #1 stall. Don Klein and the 52 machine riding behind. So it's going to be 4 tires and fuel for these boys. But I tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away? We'll take our first commercial break. You're watching it live, ETV Live, also on HDRadioNetwork.com, Nuff Radio, simulcast, Kentucky Speedway, the Halls on Post, All Pro Series here on Monday night. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. And partnered with Nuff World Simulation Gaming, check out the HD Radio Network's Nuff Radio with Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude.
Okay, we're going back to green. Next time, bye.
All right, and we are back live, ETV Live, Kentucky Speedway. The Halls on Post Monday night All-Pro Series here at Kentucky Speedway. And I'll tell you what, working our first caution here. Come out on lap 6, 17 car involved, solo. Found that banana peel, Tracy, and went on around. But I'll tell you what, in the house, joining us here just moments ago, I heard that back door open and slam shut. Kevin Kelly along for the ride. I'll tell you what, HD Radio Network commentary. I don't know, what do you call him, Phil?
I haven't really decided yet what to call him. Maybe late for dinner?
Late for dinner, commentator, whatever. I'll tell you what, had an opportunity to jump on the radio with these boys here a couple of weeks ago with a little interview deal that they had going. But I'll tell you what, Kevin Kelly, welcome to the house, man.
Thank you, sir, and I'm never late for dinner.
Go, 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 go!
Never late for dinner. Hey, all right, we'll get back to you in here in just a minute. Dwayne Hall picking up the green flag one more time here. That's number 2 for that 55 machine. Brian Stewart in a 20 machine in a close second back here. Doesn't look like he's going to let Hall get too far away. Don Klein still running up here in the top 5. Larry Mulkin hanging on to that 4th place run here, and of course rounding out your top 5, 22 car Frankie Samato for Dragon Motorsports. But I'll tell you what, let's get these guys rolling here just a little bit. We'll come back to Phil and Kevin here just momentarily. Is the 27 jumping up to the outside, 3 wide with the 22 inside, coming out of turn 4, guys, down the front stretch. Frankie Samato trying to put the gas to it. Griggy gets by on the inside, going into turn 1.
Back it down.
Oh, man. 21 car into the 27. Caution number 2 coming up here, guys, at Kentucky Speedway. And your points leader, the 21 car, Tony Bowling, in the 27 collide. John, we got it on the E-play.
Yeah, these guys are 3 wide. Tony Bowling tries to make it 4 wide here. Yeah, the window just closes on him quick. In fact, the 22, I believe, might have had to check up. Kind of threw him out of it a little bit. Ran into 27 Larry Mulligan. That's going to take out 2 very fast cars here at Kentucky.
You bet. I'll tell you what, you know, we had Tony Bowling picked as the number 3 car to keep our eye on here tonight. Of course, he's your points leader in the Halls on Post Monday Night Series here. Tony with 4 top 5 finishes here at Kentucky Speedway. And, of course, Larry Mulligan, he was the absolute pick of the night here tonight. 1 win, 6 top 5s, Tracy, and I believe it's 3rd, if not 4th place or better with those top 5s, and, of course, 1 top 10. So, I'll tell you what, Larry Mulligan and Tony Bowling, damage to both of those cars. And there is some draft here that that you got to take advantage of, Tracy.
I'll tell you what, that downforce on the front end of your car really makes a difference on this track. The first few laps on fresh tires, your car will drive like normal. But after you get a few laps of wear on them, those cars will really start pushing and really show the effect of a lack of downforce. But tell you what, that's your point leader, the 3 of Tony Bowling, racing hard here early in the race. And I tell you what, it really came up to bite these guys racing that hard, throwing them 3 wide through the corner when we're only so many few laps in. We're only looking at lap 11 of 100, guys.
You bet. I'll tell you what, caution coming out here on that. I don't know if it was lap 10 or lap 11, either way, but you're absolutely right, Tracy. It's a little bit hard racing. 100 laps on the board here tonight. 10 laps in, the 21 and 27 get together on a 3 wide situation, and like John said, almost pushing a 4 wide coming down the front stretch. And you know how it is going into turn 1 here at Kentucky Speedway. You got to get off the gas and stay off the gas so you can get a good exit coming off and keep back in from coming around on you. But the second caution of the night coming out here at Kentucky Speedway, and I imagine these boys probably stay out on the track. 10 laps of tires, Tracy. I imagine they're probably pretty good to go.
Yeah, you won't see too many cars pit there. A few of the back markers jump in, get the 21, 27, both in there doing repairs. Going to get back out there, but I tell you what, it's still going to affect these cars, especially Tony Bowling with a lot of left front damage, turning that car hard into the wall. Rest of the guys will just stay out. I mean, they really didn't put any wear on them tires, so they're still ready and set to go. But yeah, it's really going to make it tough on those 2 cars here this early in the race with having damage. So we'll have to see how it all turns out by the end. But I tell you who's going to affect the most is probably that 21 of Tony Bowling tonight.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure of that. And you know, looking over the points here, if I can get my page situated here, Tony Bowling, he's 5 points out in front of Dwayne Hall. Of course, so Dwayne picking up a couple of bonus points here at Kentucky tonight, qualifying on the pole, and has had the lead from the get-go. So Dwayne Hall in that 55 machine looking to gain some points on Tony Bowling. Tony Bowling may not have the points lead for very long up here, but I'll tell you what, joining us for the ride tonight, and we're kind of beta testing. Of course, ETV is always under beta test, but looking for a simulcast here. I'll tell you what, Phil Volts and Kevin Kelly in the house with us here tonight on ETV. I'll tell you what, boys, how are we looking with that simulcast?
I know super producer Phil, he's over there crunching some stuff. He's usually when the smoke is coming out of the computers, we're in trouble over there, so haven't heard much from him, so I think he's working on it right now, trying to get everything straightened over there. Like you said, a testing process.
I tell you what, ETV Live has been under beta test for how many years now, John?
October 2008, JD.
So it's a continuous test, yeah. Well, we've been there with the inception of Enough Radio and everything else about 2 years ago. We went through growing pains also. We know exactly where you're coming from.
Hey, Kevin, where'd we leave the fire extinguisher?
I think it's on the. We used it off the hauler when you wrecked last night, so we don't have any left over.
You know what I'm picking up here is a common theme that both are looking to push it farther ahead, but they usually sometimes the water's over the head while they're trying.
You got that. You got that exactly right. Phil didn't win the award enough for the force to be reckoned with for nothing. So.
All right, I'll tell you what, we'll get back to Phil and Kevin here in just a minute. Picking up the green flag for about the third or fourth time, Dwayne Hall in that 55 machine. And guess who's moved up to the front? Teammate James Greegate and number 7 car, Tracy. I tell you what, he's got the steam coming out of that machine as he comes off of turn 4 here, heading down the front stretch. I tell you what, James Greegate pouring the coals to that number 7 machine. He wants to get up there and put the bumper to that 55 machine for sure.
Tell you what, the number 3 Hal Beardsworth ain't waiting for nobody to give him any room as he just gets by that 22 of Frankie Samano. Tell you what, Frankie got moved up to that middle groove. Tell you that car looked pretty sporty loose on him, but he's able to hold on to it. And Hal Beardsworth moves up a position, but tell you that then the guy up there in that 20 car is doing a heck of a job to stay right on that back bumper of the 55 of Dwayne Hall. I tell you what, I think he's giving him a little fits as he's staying right there.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, you know, he may be something James Greegate didn't count on up here in the front. James Greegate from the back to the front started 14th, moving up to 3rd place up here in behind Brian Stewart in that 20 car. Don Klein in behind James Greegate. He's about 7/10 of a second off the lead up here, guys. But I'll tell you what, 16 laps in the books. Coming off a caution number 2 here just a little bit ago. And I'll tell you what, the 21 car and the 27 got involved there at the tail end of the field back here. And 21 car going side by side with the 27, Tracy.
Tell you what, I'm kind of watching them back here, JD, and if they're not really making up a whole lot of time, it looks like they're a little down on speed on the straightaways. They're running side by side right now, trying to catch up that 17 Lance Walker. Lance Walker brought out our first caution, so he has a little damage on his car. But it looks like the possible that damage is affecting these 2 cars back here, JD. As I tell you what, our lead 3 pack are just smooth sailing out there in front.
You bet, and I'll tell you what, you know, I wouldn't count these 2 out yet. You know, Wonder Boy, Tony Bowling, Larry Mulligan, he's always been a threat. Larry Mulligan is the kind of driver, he'll run in the middle of the pack somewhere, sometimes in the back, and he just kind of sneaks up on you about 10 to go. It's like, where'd that 27 car come from? But I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall out in front of Bryant Stewart, he is not letting Hall get out of his sight this time. I think Bryant probably learned his lesson here a few laps ago. But I'll tell you what, let's go back to Phil and Kevin. Kevin Kelly from HD Radio Network, guys in the house tonight. And I'll tell you what, big race coming up here in a couple of weeks on Saturday, February 25th, the HD Radio Network Daytona 500.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a race, man. And I think it's going to be an endurance test for you guys also, being the 100%. Man, tell you, you better drink plenty of water before announcing that race.
I tell you what, I might have to hire me some help.
Hey, JD, we'll have to pick up some of that, what's that drink, 5-Hour Energy?
5-Hour Energy.
Oh, yeah. It's, I mean, it's very unique. I mean, we've had some discussion about dropping the races down, and everybody was like, no, we want to keep the 100%, but I'm telling you what, it can definitely be a marathon, especially at a place like Martinsville or Bristol. Man, oh man.
You bet. I'll tell you what, we will be geared up for it, but let's get back out here on the track for just a minute. James Greegate, he got around that 20 car of Stewart. He's now putting the threat to the 55 car coming down the backstretch on the inside. Is Hall going to give it up or not? And he does. Looks like Hall taking his position up on the outside. Can't close the door on the 7. Almost making contact. Hall swings wide coming off turn 4, guys. I tell you what, it's a drag race down the front stretch. Hall's still out in front of Greegate. I tell you what, 22 laps in the books here, Tracy. 100-lap race, and these boys are racing like it was the last 10 laps.
Yeah, I tell you what, James' car pushed on him on the exit of the corner. Just about got up into the 55 of Dwayne Hall. So you had to do a little bit of checkup. Was able to give Dwayne that little bit of room. But I tell you what, he keeps that nose right underneath that 55 car. Tell you what, he's running that middle groove, making it really tough for James to get a good run off the corner. He looks like he's got a little bit faster car, but you know, it's only as fast as the person in front of you will let it'll be there, JD.
Yeah, you got that right. I tell you what, that 20 car, Brian Stewart back here in 3rd position, he's just watching all that action take place out in front of him. Probably the smart thing to do as he watches Greegate and Hall go after it up here And tell you what, one of them, one or both, might not come out so good on this thing. But Bryant Stewart back here in third, he's sitting kind of in the catbird seat, just kind of watching all that happen. In the meantime, in behind him, move him up to the front, the 3-car, Hal Beardsworth, who's going to finish second tonight in fourth place. Hal Beardsworth running a good race here at Kentucky, guys.
Yeah, he's starting to clip off a little bit of time on them leaders, because he started quite a ways back there, JD, so look for Hal to run some very competitive times. As long as he can keep that car under him tonight, he'll be all right. Ooh, the car gets super loose on him. He straightens it out and continues on. Tell you, this is where it gets Hal each time. Got a fast car, and all of a sudden that thing just jumps loose on him in the middle of the corners, JD.
You bet. 3-car Hal Beardsworth started in 11th position tonight, so Hal having a pretty decent night. But let's move it back here just a couple of notches. 22-car Frankie Samanto. Samanto's had a couple of good finishes here at Kentucky Speedway, so don't count him out either. Now, he's another driver that kind of sneaks up on you, driving for Dragon Motorsports team races on Wednesday nights here, guys. But I'll tell you what, Frankie Samanto holding down 5th place in here. Checking over here in the chat room, as we always do. I don't want to leave these guys out. Of course, we are fan interactive. I want to go back to saying good evening to David Bass, the Dragon Apprentice in there, and I say Jerry's watching us tonight. I see Kelly. Well, actually, Kelly's in the house with us tonight, and I know who Mech Arm is. Danny Gabalin, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you along for the ride tonight. And, of course, Mama D, she provided the buffet tonight. She tells me there's a couple of pots of chili back here, Tracy.
Yeah, and I tell you what, we got a couple boxes of crackers, some onion, and some cheese to throw on top of that chili, JD.
I tell you what, who provided the gas mask? Nah, we'll get to that a little bit later, but let's take it back out here to the track. The 8-car, Joe DePino, running in 8th position back here. The 34-car running in 8th position back here. Joe DePino, they call him the counselor here, guys. And I'll tell you what, the thing about Joe, he's another one that kind of sneaks up on you, too. He'll spend a lot of time back here in the back of the field, Tracy, and then suddenly he appears up there in the mix, in the top 5. Yeah, Joe's had some top 10 finishes here at Kentucky, so Joe looking for a good finish here tonight. And, of course, the 28-car Howard Pittman back here a couple of spots back in 10th. Oh, is the 52 Don Klein. I don't know what happened there. A wicked coming off the turn, a wicked slide, gets a piece of the wall. No caution yet, Tracy.
Tell you what happened there, JD. He got down low, did a drill dive, deep dive into the corner, hooked that left front tire down there on the apron, got that car all out of shape, and tell you what, did a great job to save it, not causing a caution, just getting up in the wall. But tell you what, taking a lot of damage. He's going to hit pit road. Get these guys get onto that right side and try to get it straightened out. Looks like he might have a flat even.
Wow. Don Klein started outside the pole tonight with Dwayne Hall up there in the front on the front row. Early problems here, 29 laps into this thing, and Don Klein looks like he might have some severe damage to the right side of that car as he took a piece of the wall with him. But I'll tell you what, no caution out on the track. So we're still flying green flag around here, but no changes so far, guys. I think they're just burning them off. And James Greegate, to move him out to the front, had a lead change there just moments ago during that little mishap with the 52 car. But James Greegate out in familiar territory in the front of everything.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, we're right about 18 laps on these tires now that they put them on fresh. I don't consider that last restart with an instant caution coming out as a lap on these tires. So we're going to have to keep an eye on these cars as they get closer to that 20 lap mark. And I do remember from running out here, you get to the right around that between 20 and 25, these cars go through quite a bit of a transition where they'll actually start getting looser on you for a couple laps before they come back to you as the 3 of Hal Beardworth gets loose through the middle of 3 and 4 again.
You bet. And, I'm watching this action up in front. James Greegate has pretty much checked out on the 55 machine at Dwayne Hall. Almost a second, we'll call it 0.8 of a second out in front of Dwayne Hall. Dwayne Hall starting on the pole here. James Greegate starting clear in the back. Hey, let's put a plug in the house for James Greegate. You want to catch him, I believe, April 27th, Grundy Speedway, and he runs the late models up there. Rookie of the Year, first season in a car, Hot Rod. I'll tell you what, outstanding race car driver. Hell of a young man to talk to. James Greegate, Grundy Speedway, Grundy, Illinois, Friday nights. up there at 8 o'clock. So check it out up there. And I think it's James Greegate. I think it's jamesgreegate.com, if I'm not mistaken, his website over there. But jamesgreegateracing.com.
Yeah, I tell you what, JD, I'm kind of keeping an eye on James here, looking to see how his car is running. I don't see that car getting loose at all. That thing is just smooth as butter around them corners. That's why he's getting such real fast lap times around here. Is the 55 of Dwayne Hall trying to keep him in the sights, but can't stay right in the bumper. And I'm watching Dwayne's car. See it getting a little loose on Dwayne. That is right there is probably the difference between those two cars.
You've got Hall turning pretty much 30.9, Greegate up there turning 30.7. So I'll tell you what, Dwayne Hall needs to feed a little more coal to that fire and get that boiler a little bit warmer up there. But I'll tell you what, things are looking clean and green out here at Kentucky Speedway. Why don't we go ahead and come back to Phil and Kevin. I'll tell you what, getting ready for a simulcast broadcast on the 25th Daytona 500. And you're absolutely right. It's a full 100% 500-mile race. It'll be the first time ETV Live has done that kind of thing, I believe. Of course, I haven't been with ETV since 2008, but maybe John can correct me. But 100% race, we're looking at about 3.5, maybe 4 hours, guys. Are you guys ready for that?
Well, I tell you what, man. This is my 4th year with Nuff, and I think believe it or not, now, not trying to, how do you want to say it, pull my own chain here, but I think I've only missed one race in 4 years that I got wrecked out of, so hey.
It's no problem, dude. You can pull your own chain here all you want. This is ETV Live, my friend.
It don't mean the light bulb's going to come on, though.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what. You know, getting back to this race, man, that 28, that was a hell of a save, not getting into the 52, because, man, when he de-wedged that car going in a corner like that, man, it would have been real easy for that 28 to get into him. That was a hell of a save.
Outstanding, you bet. I'll tell you what, Howard Pittman in that 28 car, he's, he's another one that kind of sneaks up on you sometimes. Howard Pittman, it's the love of the game for him. He gets out here, same thing with Jerry Hinkle. You know, I don't think either one of them really care that much about points, but I'll tell you what, they do enjoy a good time out here, both of them, Howard Pittman and Jerry Hinkle. But,
hey, JD, you got to think about this. We get to get up, get drinks of water, get the buffet, pick up something to drink. You got these guys going to run this 100% race. They're going to be stuck in their chairs for 3 to 3.5 hours. Now, I want to know, who do you hire to bring you drinks and possibly empty bottles in case, an emergency comes up?
Well, it's really funny because we talked about this before, and it's almost like you've got to prepare like the real deal. I mean, I line up my water, and I make sure I go to the bathroom at least 10 minutes before I have to sit down in front of the wheel. I mean, it's trying. We've had some guys, please, I need a caution. I got to go.
It was years ago. I had an opportunity to race in a 100% Daytona race, 500 miles. And it actually went about 6 hours or so, and you include the practice time, cautions, and everything. But that was the longest 6 hours I ever spent in one place.
Now, see, if you're like the actual drivers, they don't have anything to help with that. You just kind of have to do what you got to do because you can't get out of that car.
Yeah, we actually had a race at Phoenix one year where everybody couldn't stay on the track for some reason. Everybody was driving way over the head, and ended up being about a 5.5 hour long race. So it was an endurance.
I'll tell you what, we'll be ready for it. And again, checking over here in the chat room again, being fan interactive. We don't have our director of fan operations here tonight. He's actually in the chat room. But checking in tonight is now. I have no idea who XD Ray 24X. What kind of a name is that, dude? Put your name up there. Let us know who you are.
Well, I'll let you know who that is there, JD. That is our 2-time Nuff champion, Mr. Dale Reynolds.
Whoa, there you go. Hey, welcome to the show.
Wait a minute, guys. How do you get Dale Reynolds out of XD Ray 24X?
That's another language. All right, and hey, I'm also being told that the simulcast is up and running. Of course, I thought it was up and running all this time anyway. But I'll tell you what, HD Radio Network in the house with us here tonight. as we've got some changes up here on the track. Of course, Greegate, he's pretty much checked out on them all. Dwayne Hall's running about 1.7 seconds behind him. Hal Beardsworth up to third place, guys. Got to run that 20 car of Bryant Stewart. Hal Beardsworth looking for an outstanding finish here tonight. But I'll tell you what, he's only 39. He's 39 points out from the lead. But you know what? There's a race going on down here at the bottom of the points. Hal Beardsworth, Joe DePino, Lance Walker. Hey, they're all within about 4 or 5 points of one another. He's only 1 point away from Frank Jockman up there in 7th. As we've got some pit stops coming our way.
Yeah, JD, I was just checking back here. The 21 of Tony Bowling just ran down pit road. Looks like he got up in the wall again. I'm running back checking this. He hit the wall on accident, and I think he might have maybe flattened the tire, or he's just going to get in there, make some adjustments, and get some fresh tires on that car. Not handling good at all after that spin out.
You bet. Tony Bowling, one of the cars to watch tonight, and your points leader here at the Monday Night Halls on Post All-Pro Series. He's going down a lap, and looks like the 21 car is pushing his car behind the wall and up on the hauler, Tracy, and as we say here on ETV Live. You bet, and I bet there's probably going to be a party in some bar here in Kentucky somewhere with Tony Bowling and Don Klein out of the race tonight. Unfortunate for both of them, especially for Tony Bowling, as he was up 3 positions this week, moving into first place in the points. But I tell you what, back here out on the track, Hal Beardsworth's running in that number 3 car, making it look pretty easy out here. Hal Beardsworth starting in 11th place here tonight, guys. Up inside the top 5. Bryant hanging out. Bryant's been hanging out. Stewart in that 20 machine been hanging out up here in the top 5 pretty much all night long. Frankie Samanto, you know, driving for Dragon Motorsports, and I'll tell you what, I've seen Frankie Samanto. He puts about 8,000 laps of practice in before he comes to a race, and you know, he's one that you don't want to count out on anything. He's you know, he's sitting back here in 6th position, guys. Or in 5th position, but he's like 5.6 seconds in back of the leader. But that really doesn't mean anything for that 22 machine. I've seen him come from all the way from the back, go all the way to the front, and you know, take it home. So Frankie Samanto out here running in 5th position, Tracy.
Yeah, JD, I'm taking a look, and I think we've gone past that transition point where the car gets loose for a few laps. Because I tell you, I'm watching Hal Beardsworth's car, not showing any signs of getting loose out there. Looks like that car has come in for him, as he was running some pretty good lap times. Still losing a couple tenths a lap to that number 7 of James Greegate, but also so is the 55 of Dwayne Hall. They're both sliding back from the leader a little bit still, JD.
You bet. You suppose that has something to do with about 30-some-odd laps on those tires from that last pit stop?
Yeah, I tell you what, but the nice part is they've gone through the transition of getting loose, so these cars should be pretty good, and we'll see who's got what for the long run here. Tell you, the top 3 cars are doing a great job.
Outstanding, and there he is, Dale Reynolds in the house. He must have come in and changed his name, but I appreciate it when guys come in with their real names, that we can call you out in the chat room over there and say howdy. But good evening. Glad you're along for the ride here tonight. Kentucky Motor Speedway. This is the Halls on Post Monday Night All-Pro Series. And I'll tell you what, we've been clean and green here for a little while. I'm getting a little bit hungry. I'm going to check out that buffet table back here behind us, Tracy. Why don't we go ahead and we'll stop, take a commercial break right here, right now. As let's hang on to that. As we've got somebody in the wall already, Tracy.
Yeah, JD, tell you what, went to go make it wide. Entering corner 1, the 34 Joe DePino slapped that wall lip, and also the 27 of Larry Mulligan got a piece of it.
Larry Mulligan having a tough night here. Remember back on lap 10, 11, so 21 car and 27 car getting together in a kind of a tango mess up there. Both cars damaged. Of course, 21 car out of the race tonight. Tony Bowling, your points leader, but Larry Mulligan, he was our absolute car to watch here tonight. He's got a bunch of top 5 finishes. He's won here at Kentucky. But Larry Mulligan desperately trying to move that machine of his forward and just having a rough time of it. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and step away. We'll take a commercial break. You're watching live, ETV Live, HD Radio Network in the house on a simulcast. So I'll tell you what, hang tight, cowboy. Don't wander off. We'll be right back.
dig. Hard as you can go all the way to the wall, dig, 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 back to speed. Tires look awesome too, bud, and then there at the end you were mowing down those guys pretty quick.
Alright guys, bearing down on your 20, hard and fast.
You've been doing an awesome job. We'll get us one tonight.
Hey, car's pulled off. Flag, green flag.
All right, we are back live. I'll tell you what, just having a kind of an off-the-wall discussion back here, HD Radio Network guys. In the house with us tonight, we've got Phil Foltz and Kevin Kelly along for the ride. And I tell you what, they're in the house tonight running a simulcast, getting ready for the big one on February 25th. That's going to be the Daytona 500. You can listen to it live on Nuff Radio. And also, of course, live broadcast by ETV Live right here. But out here on the track, guys, I tell you what, things are shaping up out here. Hal Beardsworth showing signs of needing tires as he gets past Dwayne Hall. Dwayne Hall looks like he's given that one up, Tracy, pretty easy. Dwayne Hall is falling backwards here a little bit. But, you know what, Greegate has slowed his pace down here quite a bit, too. And Hal Beardsworth about 2.5 seconds, 2.5 seconds behind Greegate, but showing signs of tire wear, and I hear that possibly 60-some-odd laps on tires here at Kentucky, Tracy.
Yeah, I tell you what, you can take her all the way up to probably around 60 laps, so right now we'd be looking about lap 80 for a lot of the guys running up front to come in, but I tell you, the 20 of Brian Stewart heading down pit road had enough of them old burnt-out tires. Yelled at his pit guys, get me in there, we're just too slow. So he's heading down there. They said, all right, we'll throw 4 tires on you, get a fill of fuel. You should be good to the end of the race. Tell you what, this will make a big difference on those guys running up front. How long they're going to let him out there with fresh tires compared to them. He could make up quite a few seconds on a complete run to the end there, JD.
You bet. Dwayne Hall coming down pit road. He's going to make his way into his pit box. And it'll be 4 tires and fuel for that 55 machine as Joe DePino making his way down pit road as well, Tracy. 34 car Joe DePino, 4 tires and fuel for him as green flag pit stops underway.
Yeah, I tell you, the 55 Dwayne Hall, he's coming down into pit road too. To tell you what, that'll make a difference, and that'll make our leader get down here and get into the pits. Like I said, you can't leave a guy out there with fresh tires so many laps ahead of you. I tell you, you might not be able to catch back up to him if it stays green. But looks like Dwayne Hall pitting at lap 60 with 40 laps to go.
You bet. And Dwayne Hall pit stop, 4 tires and fuel on his way back out on the track. I'll tell you what, he's got to make up some time. And I know in the live standing it's going to show him a lap down. But keep in mind that everybody in front of him has not pitted yet. As Roger Haygood sitting in the pits, Frank Jockman coming down, Greegate, that 7 machine, on his way into the pits. 4 tires and fuel. James Greegate, your leader, coming from the back to the front. Green flag pit stops underway at Kentucky Speedway.
Yeah, James down here getting 4 tires and fuel. Get the car back out there. He's good till the end. Let's see how much Dwayne wasn't able to make a whole lot of time on James Greegate as he got into the pit the next lap. This number 3 of Hal Beardsworth staying out another lap to lead another lap on his score. But I tell you, he's going to need to get down pit road. Oh, the 33, Jerry Hinkle, misses pit roads, guys. Has to get back, continue on the track. 33, Jerry Hinkle going to lose a lot of time, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, Jerry Hinkle in that 33 machine probably going to go a lap down here, guys. That will cost him plenty, as Jerry Hinkle missed his pit road entry. And I'll tell you what, you're coming down through the gears, wowing that pony up, and then you got to go back up through the gears as everybody motors on past. So Jerry Hinkle in deep trouble here he'll have to come around one more time, try to make that entry again. And I'll tell you what, James Greegate back out on the track, and when things cycle around, it should put him right back out in the front. So Monto, Mulligan, Beardsworth, and Hinkle have not made their pit stop. Jerry Hinkle on his way down pit road now. That leaves three of them, actually one of them out there on the track. Hal Beardsworth in his pit box, 4 tires and fuel for that number 3 machine. And like we say, things cycle around here. It should put Greegate right back out in front.
Yeah, as Hal Beardsworth leaves pit road, heading out onto the track. So you got great pit stop on his crew. They could pull the tear off, give him 4 fresh tires and fuel. Got him sent on his way. He made a slight adjustment on the track bar, JD, to help with that getting loose about the middle of the run.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, I heard those squeaky hinges on the back door, and the door open, and I heard that screen door kind of slam shut back there. Tony Bowling in the house. Tony Bowling, that 21 machine points leader here, Monday night, hold on, post Monday night series. Tony, tell us what happened down there, my friend.
I think you guys had a better view of it than me. I didn't know what happened. I just know that after we got out of the car and watched the replay, looked like, we got into 3 wide. I think Larry got a little bottled up there, and it was either, take the position or run into the back of him and lose quite a few, so I went for it. And Hal was doing the same thing, and I think right there before we entered that turn, Hal come up just a little bit to get an arc into the turn, and it startled me. And when he did, because I was actually getting ready to start turning down, and from there the rest is history.
The rest is history. I'll tell you what, you're up 3 positions this week. You're sitting at the top of the pile, only 5 points out in front of Dwayne Hall. Of course, Hall picking up a few bonus points tonight, and that's a teammate of yours here on Wednesday nights too. So 5 points out in front of your teammate, and of course, not being able to finish the race, that's probably going to move you back down the points a little bit. And Hall with the bonus tonight for the pole might wind up in first place. But how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it sucks, JD. You got to really race hard to just to be even in the top 5. And I finally got the points lead last week, and I've been telling myself that all I needed to do was run good top 5 finishes throughout the season. Not have any mistakes, and come in here tonight and have a bad race right off the get-go. It's just, it's a bummer because it takes forever just to make those points up. And when you got Greegate, Dwayne, Samanto, them guys, they're running good every week, and unless you're out there winning, which you almost have nitrous in your car to beat James anymore, you almost ain't got a shot.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Greegate coming off of, a couple of wins here himself, but, don't count yourself out. You got up there in the top somehow, some way, but I'll tell you what, you've got a win to your credit. I think it looks like 3 top 5s here for the season. And you were one of the 3 cars that we were looking at here tonight. You've got 4 top 5 finishes here at Kentucky that we know of. So, hey, don't count yourself out, Tony.
Oh, I definitely won't. I'll be back next race and be racing with our buddy, for the win, just like always. I just couldn't get the hang of it tonight. I don't know what it was. I don't know if, the team made an adjustment to the setup or, what happened. I just couldn't get the feel of the track there, and I was just going to run some laps until, it got to feeling better to me. But that didn't happen, so we'll be back next week.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, you got your 2 teammates out there running 1-2, James Greegate, Dwayne Hall. Now, tell us, are they running the same setup?
JD, I don't know. I would guess if it's not the same, it's really close to running the same thing. The thing with James, though, he can go out there and run the same setup as us and still run it, 0.3 of a second faster than we can. So, you almost have to hope James has bad luck out there to have a shot at the championship. But we'll see how the rest of the season plays out.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if he's got any more room on that shelf for another trophy or not, but Tony Bowling in the house with us tonight. Rough night at Kentucky for him. and put his car up on the hauler and headed for the barn. Tony, thanks for joining us up here in the booth. But in the meantime, out here on the track, Tracy, we did have a little bit of action while we were talking to Tony.
That looks like the 55 Dwayne Hall pushing that car pretty hard. On the exit of the corner, he got up into that safer barrier a little bit. Not too sure if it did much damage to that front fender, but tell you it doesn't take a lot to cause a lot of damage out here on these tracks where that right front fender means everything for taking these corners and not rubbing the tires, burning them front tires off.
You've got 72 laps in the books here, 100 laps on the board, so I tell you what, we are in the final stages here. And, you know, at this point in the race, Tracy, you got to get this coal shovel out and start feeding that fire and start pumping that boiler up down here. And that's exactly what Dwayne Hall's going to have to do if he wants to get that 55 machine up there close to Greegate, dropping way back we'll call it 3 seconds off of Greegate out here. Of course, that's going to put the rest of them all the way back behind him. Hal Birdsworth giving up a position back in fourth now, but still maintaining a top 5 from starting in 11th. But I tell you what, if you boys want to watch this race again, you can get it all over at etv-eplay.net, and that's where it's at. And I tell you what, there's enough of them piled up over there. You can have yourself an e-play party, corn dogs and Coronas. I tell you what, a little pre-race action from HD Radio Network, and crank it up with some of the classic rocks. Yeah, if you're a metalhead, they got that too over there. But the etv-eplay.net. And Hard Driving Radio, HDRadioNetwork.com. But Phil Foltz in the house with us tonight, along with Kevin from HD Radio. And I tell you, you guys enjoying the action up here in the booth?
Oh, absolutely, having a good time up here.
Oh, I tell you, man. You know, Tracy was talking a while ago, but right now, man, with like 25 laps, you're searching for a different groove, anything to try to erase that time off of that clock. And I see Mr. Hall, man, he's searching, but I don't know if he's got enough for that 7.
I tell you what, James Greegate is probably the class act here at the Nation. James Greegate, a real race car driver. And let me tell you something about this kid. All right, he spends a couple of seasons over here in this ARCA thing with the Nation, and then of course he's been involved with NASCAR racing pretty much. I believe he did some marketing work or is involved in some marketing work, but hooked himself up a ride in a late model. He runs up there at Grundy Speedway in Grundy, Illinois. First season out, boys, and he's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, that's awesome stuff right there. Being a former racer myself, I raced some Busch North and some Busch East, so I know how hard it is to get in there. So to get something like that, man, that's hey, that's a job well done right there.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, if you ever get a chance to talk to James Greegate, he's one of the nicest young men that you'd ever want to speak to. But I'll tell you what, in the meantime, back here on the track, really nothing going on, Tracy. Everybody's kind of maintaining. I saw a little bit of action from DePino. Trying to work Mulliken over here a little bit, but Mulliken able to put that thing up another position up here. Larry Mulliken involved in that caution with the 21 car Tony Bowling way back on lap 10. Heavily damaged car, heavy damage to that 21 car of Bowling's, but Mulliken seemed to come out the better of the two. And I tell you what, he's got to have his foot just glued to that throttle pedal.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, trying to compensate for that damage he got. He's doing a great job moving up. I'll tell you another car doing a really great job out there is that number 5 car, Roger Haygood, running in 6th position, JD. Just keeping that car clean, keeping her running straight. Tell you what, it's going to pay for him with a, look like a top 10 finish, and if you never know by the end of this race, he may end up 5th. But I tell you, our biggest loser on them pit stop was that 3 of Hal Beardworth. He lost quite a few seconds on his in and out time from his pit stop that the 20 of Brian Stewart was able to get in front of him. Now I just see Hal Beard was able to get around the 20 and take over 3rd spot again.
Get it right back away from that 20 car, Brian Stewart. Brian Stewart doing an outstanding job tonight, pretty much hanging out in the top 5 all night long. Started 3rd, 2nd row, guys. So I tell you what, 20 car, Brian Stewart having a pretty decent night here tonight. Hey, looking over here on the schedule, and you can check it out too, etv-eplay.net. Just click on the schedule link up there at the top of the page. Tons of racing coming your way live on ETV. And we had another one sneak in here. This is going to be a late night race. Of course, this is a Rick Donathan deal. You've heard him on ETV Live here last Saturday with VSR Racing. 11 o'clock, Noble Motorsports. I don't recall the track. I believe it was Texas, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to happen 11 p.m. on the 15th. That's Wednesday night. And Thursday night, dude, you do not want to miss this action. We watched it all season last season on Friday nights. Thursday night Thunder with Jesse the Outlaw James. You heard him and I last night on Sunday night in the Road to the Pro Series. And then we're going to take a night off, and we're going to come back on Saturday night. And back with the Harold Lowry Super Speedway Series. Rick Donathan, Tracy Robinson in the house with you. I'll be along for the ride. But I'll tell you what, working on breaking in a new broadcaster. And John, the Bad Boy Wrestling, old Rick the Lawman, doing a pretty decent job.
Hey, Tracy, can you believe J.D. Webb said that? He's going to give us a night off.
I get a night off, too?
Yeah, you boys can have a night off. What do you think?
I tell you what, that Noble race is going to make a late one for me. As I was telling you, JD, I'm starting to take a little bit of a class here from some schooling, 10-hour days. Going to come and broadcast that late race. Going to make it short on a little sleep, but that's all right. Tell you what, these races are a blast to watch. That's why we do it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be showing up and putting the time in. But these guys are out here doing a great job keeping these cars clean. Looks like we're probably going to make it all the way to the checkered here, JD, without any cautions.
You bet. I'll tell you what, the caution average here for these boys running about 5 or so. We've already had 2 in the books now, so I'll tell you what, work on the final laps here. About 15 to go here, so, you know, guys are doing a fantastic job here. Of course, they always do, racesimnation.net. And let me tell you something. You want to come out here and strap one of these babies on, come out here and play in these guys' backyard, racesimnation.net. And that's where it's all happening. So check them out over here, racesimnation.net. This is one of the some of the most fantastic drivers you'd ever want to race with. And I'm sitting here watching Larry Mulliken in that 27 machine. He's one of the good guys out here, moving up one more position out here from 8th to 7th, desperately trying to keep that 27 machine up there in the top 10. But I'll tell you what, Larry Mulliken, certainly the car to beat tonight, upset on lap 10 with the 21 car. But I'll tell you what, in front of him, you heard Tracy talk about him here just a little bit ago. Roger Haygood, biggest points mover for the week up here, up 5 position, guys. And I'll tell you what, he's slowly creeping up into the top 10, and this will be a good night for Roger.
Yeah, to tell you what, like we like to say over here all the time, this is 100 laps, a qualifying type speed lap. Tell you, it's really tough to stay up with the top guys here, as that's pretty much what they run. And sometimes they think they push each other a little too hard, but it makes up for some great racing to see how well these guys can control these cars and actually somehow save these tires to keep a fairly even pace. But the pace they put on is qualifying laps every lap.
You bet, and these guys are pretty much spaced far enough apart. I really don't see any threats by anybody. I think the closest car up here, Frankie Samanto with the 20 car of Brian Stewart up here. Frankie Samanto moving. I told you about Frankie Samanto. You know, he hangs around there mid-pack or so and just kind of toys around, lollygags around. And pretty soon he just kind of sneaks up on you, and here he is sitting up there in 4th place.
Yeah, I tell you, Frankie Samano does a great job. I tell you, he's been putting a lot of laps in, practicing a lot in these cars. So he's showing it right here, just slowly getting his way forward. And there's a reason why he was a point leader early. He always runs good on these tracks, doing a great job for Dragon Motorsports out there, creeping his way forward. And I don't know if he's probably going to run out of time before he gets back to that 3 of Hal Beardsworth, as we're now down to, looks like, to 11 laps to go, JD.
You bet. And when leader comes around, we'll pick up 10 laps to go here. And once again, I want to check over here in the chat room. A couple more people who have logged in here. See if I can keep track of things over here. Nicole Hanna, she's in the house. Noab 16. Christian from Costa Rica, watching the race, the final stages here. And then we've got Nuff World, number 16, Lowe's in the house with us. And then Nuff World, I don't know these guys, Kevin and Phil, but BB 3537, Jacob Pawlowski in the house, and Sulita, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Is
Yeah,
that
that's
his
old
measurement?
Sewelta. He's a Canuck. He's from the Great White North.
All right, the Great White North. I'll tell you what, also along for the ride tonight, Angela Hall. Now let's put a pop in for Angela Hall. I'll tell you what, Hall's on post. Tax time, guys, and it's, what do we got, another month and a half or so? If you ain't got them done, you better give Angela Hall a call. hallsonpost.com. Get in touch with her. Get your taxes done. If you want to be a millionaire, I'll tell you what, call Angela Hall. She'll save you a bundle on your taxes. So hallsonpost.com, Angela Hall is where it's at, guys.
Yeah, it's looking pretty clean out there in the race, JD. Angela Hall, yeah, does a great job. If you need your taxes done, get a hold of her. As we'll tell you where we're taking down here, and it looks like James Greegate got a 5.5 second lead. JD as the number 3 of Hal Beardworth gets around the 55 of Dwayne Hall, take over second position.
You bet. I'll tell you what, you made it look pretty easy. Of course, I want to say the 55 machine kind of gave that position up. I think Dwayne Hall, you know, he's good on the short run, Tracy, but the long run here just seems to do him in, and that looked like it was too easy to get around him there. And you can see Hal Beardworth, he's just pretty much checking out on Dwayne Hall.
Yeah, it looks like he's lost the handle of that car quite a bit, just trying to hold on to it, holding on to the end as he's just going to try to hold off our 4th place car there of 22 of Frankie Samanto.
You bet. And as the laps wind down, 7 to go here, Hal Beardworth, he's about 5.5 seconds back at James Greegate. Don't know that there's enough time to get up there and put a threat to that 7 car up there, but certainly going to be a respectable finish if he can hang on to that number 2 position here. Dwayne Hall slipped back, started on the pole, still hanging out in the top 5, but I tell you what, Frankie Samanto sitting back here in 4th position. He's about 3, let's call it 3 seconds in back of Hal Beardworth here, guys. So don't know that he's got enough time. Couple of seconds in back of Dwayne Hall. Don't know if he's got enough time to get up there. So we might be looking at the finish right here. We got 5 to go.
Yeah, I tell you, he'll have to keep pretty good control of that car. Try to keep it on the bottom to hold the 22 off. The 22 right now, he's a little over 1.5 seconds behind that 55 of Dwayne Hall, fighting to hold on to the 3rd position.
You bet. And 4 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway. And, you know, once again, I want to thank HD Radio Network. They're providing the pre-race sounds for us. I tell you what, rock your brains out, dude. HDRadioNetwork.com. Kevin Kelly and Phil Foltz in the house with us tonight here at ETV Live. Good to have you boys along for the ride.
Yeah, great to be here, man. I tell you what, you guys do an awesome job on here. And, hey, you know, it doesn't even seem like you've only been doing this a short time.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, you just, this is fly-by-wire stuff up here. There is no script, no rules, no hand-me-down guide, no nothing. So, John
Trial
Westling,
by fire.
Yeah, it is. John Westling gives you a call and says, hey, you're working tonight, get your ass in the booth. So here we are. That's kind of how it works.
Sounds a lot like HD Radio Network.
Yeah, the slave driver.
Yeah, sometimes you even get locked out of the garage so you can't get in a car and drive.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna tell you what, that 7-car boy, he is definitely checked out. I mean, he's in a league of his own right now, boy.
I'll tell you what, James Greegate in that 7 machine up there, he's got Jerry Hinkle up there in front of him. Of course, Jerry having his own difficulties. It looks like he may go a lap down here before the night's over. 2 laps to go here at Kentucky Speedway, guys, as James Greegate comes from the back to the front. And it looks like he might be taking the big one home here tonight, Tracy.
Oh, I just watching Frankie Samano getting closer to that 55 of Dwayne Hall. Went to go enter corner 3. Howard Pittman in the 28, a lap down, drove down to the low part of the track, and almost pretty much like blocked the 22. So the 2020 went to move up to get around him, but the 28 pushing was moving up right with him. Great job for that 22 to actually continue going up and get around that 28. As he's fighting real hard to get to that back bumper of the 55, where he's only off the back of that 55 car right now by about 2 car lengths, guys.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, final lap, white flag. He's got it in his hand as James Grigate comes across the line. He's going to take first place. Hal Beardsworth, who's going to finish second? It's you, Hal Beardsworth, finishing second in number 3 car. Dwayne Hall started on the pole for third place. Frankie Samato, outstanding top 5 finish in 4th place in a 20 car. I tell you what, the 20 car, Brian Stewart, you know, he's probably the most impressive of the night. Hung out in the top 5 all night long, putting up a good fight. Going to finish in 5th place, guys.
I tell you, Roger Hagood hanging on to a second. Larry Mulligan with that damage, bringing that car home in 7th position. Great job for Larry to get that car back up there, JD.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, 28 car Howard Pittman, throw him a shout out too. Hanging out, making it tough. He's going to finish a lap down, but he hung right with it. And that 17 car, 2 laps down, but I'll tell you what, stuck right with it. Points mean everything. And, you know, if you don't finish the race, you're just going to be out that many points. But Lance Walker in that 17 finishing in 12th place. So out of the race tonight early, Tony Bowling, Don Klein. Tough night for those 2 guys. Of course, Tony Bowling, your points leader, as we watch James Grigate celebrate down here in the grass. But I'll tell you what, why don't we go ahead and we'll cut away here for a little bit, and we'll get ready for the Halls on post-race show here at Kentucky Speedway. You're watching live Cowboy ETV Live. It's the only choice, so don't wander off. We'll be right back.
Hey dude, are you ready to rock and roll? If that's cool, then you need to do it over at HD Radio Network. HD Radio Network, 4 stations broadcasting 24/7 with everything from metal favorites to the 80s classic rock like legendary Leonard Skinner, Electric Light Orchestra, Foreigner, and bone-rattling, skull-crushing rock and roll on hard driving radio. And partnered with Nuff World Simulation Gaming, check out the HD Radio Network's Nuff Radio with Bear Factory, Stone Temple Pilots, Def Leppard, and a whole lot more. HDRadionetwork.com. Take your pick and rock your brains out, dude. All right, we are back live, Kentucky Speedway, and I'll tell you what, good night of racing here for the nation, and of course taking home the big one and another trophy. James Grigate, have you really got room on that shelf for another trophy?
Well, for this side of it, at Race Sim Nation, you always have room for another trophy, man. It's not easy to win here, so great group of guys. Overall, there was a lot of respect and a lot of courtesy tonight. You know, all the way around, coming from the back to the front was a lot of fun, running with some of these guys. And no, we were just fortunate. Got a little messed up in qualifying. Just had to start in the back, and then was just fortunate enough to come through the field.
Hey, isn't that what that number 7 machine's all about, from the back to the front? I'll tell you what, my friend, you made it look easy tonight. Of course, you know, you slipped down a couple of notches in the points, you know, this week. Tony Bowling sitting up there at the top. He had a bad night. And, of course, he's your teammate, also teammate Dwayne Hall, sitting up there in second. So slipping down a couple of notches here, what do you got to do to get past those two to get back to the front?
Basically what we did tonight, you know, lead laps, you know, try and lead the most laps, and winning the race actually is the biggest part with those bonus points for winning. So, no, last week I had a mental error. I thought pit road speed was 55 when it was 45, so I came actually tiptoeing into the pits and actually sped up when I got towards the line to get it to 55, and then once I crossed that line, realized it was 45, and then it was just a, you know, normal reaction to slam the brakes, and when I did that, I spun the darn thing out, and just basically got caught speeding and spun the thing out all at once, so. It was a bad week last week. Basically took a decent run and threw it away, but this week we came out with a little bit more of a chip on our shoulder for that too. Came from the back, like I said, and got to the front and had a lot of fun running with Dwayne, Stu. Hal was coming pretty good there, especially in that middle run. A lot of fun running with him, and I got to thank my wife, Nicole. We had an overheating issue with the computer. I forgot to turn the fan on the side of the computer with about 20 to go. My graphics card started freaking out a little bit, and she came in, turned the fan on, and made it the rest of the way. So thanks, Nicole, for that too.
I tell you what, always helps to have a crew chief right there at your beck and call, doesn't it? But I'll tell you what, one more question. We had Tony Bowling up here in the booth, James, after he had to park it and put it up on the hauler, and I put it to him, and I asked him. I said, Tony, is Dwayne Hall and James Greegate running the same setup? Not knowing if he was going to give that up or not, but what was the outcome there?
Overall, I'm not exactly sure what Tony was running tonight. Most of the times we share everything that we got back and forth, and it's just one of those things that I know Tony's got a different style. He likes his cars a lot looser than what I personally like, and I like mine even looser than Dwayne. So I know that Tony and J.J. Schlafer actually were really good teammates together. They ran really well. They like to take a good base setup and basically made it their own on a lot of tracks. And honestly, I haven't run Kentucky in so long I can't even remember the last time I really ran here. So this setup, I think, is our base one from 2009. So if he's gotten anything from Dwayne, it's the same thing that we've been running. It's just a matter of how much he changed it from there. But no, normally we all run pretty darn close to the same. And I'm not sure. I think tonight it wasn't so much a setup issue difference over, between any of us. It was just for Tony on that one, he got into a little bit of a bad situation, which I'm not sure if I helped cause or not. I was a little bit aggressive. I was trying to get underneath Frank Samanto. Didn't realize that Larry Mulliken was backing up on the top side. Put us in a 3 wide, and then I think Tony tried to fill the gap after I left, and when he realized it wasn't a good idea, I think he tried to back out of it, and when that happened, kind of all heck broke loose, and it's a shame for it to see it for him. I'm sure he'll bounce back. I mean, he won 4 in a row the last couple weeks, or last week he won 4 in a row, so we know he can get back up there and make it a good battle.
You bet. Well, I'll tell you what, you made it look pretty easy tonight. Any shout-outs out there you want to give?
Yeah, I've got to give a shout-out to Angela Hall and Hall's on Post Accounting and Tax Services. It's tax season. It's here. Same thing we talk about, year-round is get ready for tax season, get those tax returns. And as soon as you get those W-2s, I know that I just got mine. It's on its way to Angela Hall and Hall's on Post. You can also go through one of the nice little deals she's running. You mentioned my name, Grundy County Speedway or Kimber Horn Racing, and you actually get 50% off. So go to Angela Hall. Hall's on Post Accounting and Tax Services. She'll take care of you. Nobody better. And she's just the one to go to for that. So aside from her, I'd like to thank my wife again. Thank my teammates, Dwayne and Tony, Kyle Lent as well. A lot of fun running with those guys, ETV, all you guys for coming in and putting these broadcasts on. I know recently the show has been a little bit scarce as far as drivers, but you guys still come in and put on a great broadcast, and we greatly appreciate it. So all you guys are awesome. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
You bet. Appreciate that, James. I'll tell you what, check him out April 27th, Grundy Speedway, Grundy, Illinois. I'll tell you what, short track racing at its best, and you were just listening to the Rookie of the Year from last season. So check out James Greegate in that number 7 car, Grundy Speedway. I'm going to throw the microphone on down the road just a little bit. Who's going to finish second tonight? Tracy Flip Robinson standing by with Hal Beardsworth.
Yeah, guys, I'm down there with Hal Beardsworth. Looks like they took that horseshoe. Finally got that thing flipped back up the right direction there, Hal. Tell us about your race.
Thanks, Tracy. We had a pretty good setup today. I got to thank my teammate, Sean Brown. We worked on this setup for our team races, and we had a long run setup. The thing was really tough to handle the first 10 or 15 laps, if you know how Sean likes his setups. But after about 15 laps, the thing was a rocket ship, and we came up through the field pretty good.
Yeah, I was telling the audience how it looked like we were going to hit it right around like 20 to 25 laps for the transition in these cars where they would get really loose on you, and we were watching you right around that time start getting it real loose, and as soon as you looked like about 23rd lap in or so, the car just straightened up and you were just fast as can be out there.
Yeah, it was a handful that first 15, 20 laps, and then after that, I didn't have any problems. It was like on railroad tracks, and caught up with Dwayne there, and Dwayne was nice enough to let me by a couple times. Thank you, Dwayne. Still have to thank Sean, though. He kind of worked on this setup for us.
All right. Any shout-outs you want to get up there, Hal?
Yeah, Hall's on post for being the sponsor of this division. I don't pay taxes because I don't make any money, but if I ever need to, I'll call her.
All right, guys, that's your second place finisher tonight. The number 3 of Hal Beardworth, and I'm going to throw it down the road down to John. You caught up to with, let's see who that, the 55 Trackmaster Dwayne Hall.
Yeah, I sure have, guys. That 55 car, Dwayne Hall, just didn't have quite enough juice in that car to hold off Hal Beardworth. I bet Hal Beardworth wouldn't have let you buy that easy, would he, Dwayne Hall?
Are you kidding me?
A great run tonight. It just seemed like that car didn't have the long haul setup that James Greegate and Hal Beardworth had tonight. Did you just burn them tires up a little bit too early, or just didn't have the setup under that car tonight?
I leaned on the wall once too hard. That was the biggest thing. But I was trying to take it easy. Hal caught me off guard one time. I was like, where did he come from? You know, and it did okay. At least I finished in the top 5 anyway.
Well, Dwayne, you had a great car tonight. And why I got you here, Dwayne Hall, there's some guys in the chat room tonight been watching you guys at RSN tonight, and they put out a challenge for you guys. They run 100% races over Enough World over there in the Arkasim, and they want to put a challenge out to you guys. See, they've been working out in the gym all winter long, while you guys at RSN been getting all fat because you just run these little 40% races. And they want to put a challenge out, a challenge race right here on ETV, 75% race length. I think they want to race you, Dwayne.
It sounds like it. I ran with those guys this past Saturday in one of their test races at Daytona. Actually, at my Daytona track. And it was a good race. Ran out good. It was 100 laps. I made lap 95 before I got destroyed. I'm trying to get some of my teammates over there, at least to run their Daytona opener anyway.
Well, you missed the point, Dwayne. We're offering a challenge race here between
dude.
RSN against Enough World. 75% race.
I'm here. I'm game. Let them pick the track. Say when.
All right, I'll tell you what. You got Phil Foltz and Kevin Kelly from HD Radio Network, Enough World, sitting right here in the booth. So they're
ready to take you. Bring it. Bring it.
Let's go get them. We'll get them. We've been challenged before.
Oh, man, boy, the trash is going back and forth now, boy, I tell you.
Tell you what, that's one way to bring all the drivers in. Throw a little challenge between 2 leagues.
It's got to be a better track than Daytona. That's a girls' track.
Yeah, we'll let the 55 Dwayne Hall get that settled out with Phil and those boys. But,
Dover sounds good to me. Let's go to Dover.
That's good. We run good at Dover.
Let's give Dwayne an opportunity to get his shout-outs out there, and then we'll duke it out here in a little bit. But Dwayne, go ahead and give your shout-outs, bud.
Of course, Hall's on Post, accounting, hallsonpost.com. Give my wife a call. It is tax time, and she's in there going at it, trying to get them all done. The guys in the league, RSN, they do a good job over here keeping it going. We do good. Good racing, obviously. I wish we had some more guys, but the racing has been great. I believe we're averaging under 2 cautions per race, so you can't knock that. And ETV guys, broadcast. They're always cool. They always are. And Phil, whenever you guys are ready, you let me know.
Just had to throw that thing in there, too. I think last year on our 100% races, I think we averaged like 2.5 cautions for 100%. So not bad. Not bad. Would love to get it on with you guys.
All right. I'll tell you what, you heard it live right here on ETV Live. So it's out there. It's on the floor, and I'm sure these two will be talking here in the next week or so. But, guys, HD Radio Network along for the ride tonight for the first time in the booth with ETV, Phil and Kevin. And glad you boys can make it. Open invitation, my friends. Anytime you guys want to come on up here and hop in the booth with us. And we just have a good old time. So thanks for being along for the ride tonight, guys.
Hey, no problem. Looking forward to simulcasting some more races now that we got a few of the bugs worked out. I think we got it all set up. So you just say the word, and we'll try and get a couple more of these on Enough Radio.
That's it. Also want to get a big shout out there that we are going to simulcast the Daytona race, and we invite the RSN guys to come over here and listen to our hour-and-a-half long pre-race show for the Daytona 500. It's going to be great.
You bet. And I'll tell you what, we've got a meeting tomorrow night, and we're going to be talking about the pre-race show live on ETV Live. So be looking for that on the 25th, Friday, February 25th. Or no, Saturday, February 25th. and a full-on 100% Daytona 500. And I'm getting excited about that. But Tracy, I'll tell you what, outstanding race here at Kentucky. Of course, these boys, they know how to get the job done. James Grigate taking the big one home again. Who's going to finish second? Hal Beardworth. Good to see him finish up here in the top 3.
Yeah, it was good to see Hal to get that horseshoe turned around. Tell you what, he's been snake bitten here for the last few weeks. Till you get them drivers back up there who normally run really good. But tell you what, we had everybody up there running good and put on a great race. Just had a couple little minor hiccups, but nothing too huge. But I tell you, we got to thank a few people. We want to thank True Gravity Arts Design for designing the RSN website. We'd like to thank Halls and Post for sponsoring the Halls and Post Monday night series here, and also sponsoring the ETV live chat room and the post-race show. We'd like to thank DB Texer for sponsoring the Saturday Night Thunder series. Also, the ARCA League manager for managing the series points. And also, we got to thank the Sim Factory for producing a great game like ARCA Sim Racing.
Dude, HDRadioNetwork.com. I'll tell you what, they provide the pre-race entertainment for ETV Live. Check it out over there. Rock your brains out, cowboy. HDRadioNetwork.com. The nation itself. How about these guys? RaceSimNation.net. And like I mentioned during the race, you want to come out here and strap on these babies on and play in their backyard? RaceSimNation.net. Get signed up. Jody Johnson. He's the ETV Live journalist for the RSN Weekly Race Headlines over there. He does a little bit of work for John over at the ETV Live website as well. I'll tell you what, Jody Johnson, thanks for all you do. ETV Live executive producer, John the Bad Boy Westling. I'll tell you what, he's the absolute legend. That's what Jesse James calls him on Thursday nights. Trackmaster Dwayne Hall, you heard him tonight. Outstanding run for him, top 5 finish. Dwayne Hall reworks the tracks for the nation. I'll tell you what, absolute wonders that he can do with these tracks and make them very raceable. And, of course, my co-host here, Tracy Flip Robinson. I'll tell you what, we've been having a heck of a good time up here in the booth of ETV Live. Lots of racing coming our way. Check it out, etv-eplay.net. And last but not least, thanks to all the drivers over here at the Nation for putting on some of the best racing we've ever seen online. So I'll tell you what, for everybody up here in the booth, HD Radio Network, all the winners, all the guys over here at RaceSimNation.net, outstanding run here. Kentucky Speedway, check it out at etv-eplay.net. And with that, we'll see you on Thursday night.